I hope it doesn't sound arrogant when I say that I am the greatest man in the world.
House of the Dragon time again. So there are going to be spoilers. We open up and the king is dead. So again, the important, pivotal moment happens off camera. I've been talking a lot about Amazon's The Rings of Power and how did I put it in a nice way, seems to borrow scenes from Game of Thrones. But this episode is a bit of a strange one for Hot D. The king is dead and the episode has a lot of political manoeuvring in the middle of the night. People making their moves before the news gets out, and it bears a strong resemblance to King Robert's death in season 1 of Thrones, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. On one hand, I did like that story a lot. On the other hand, this story is maybe a bit derivative of it. But on the good, I suppose some things do cycle in life, over and over again. The death of a king and a disagreement about the succession. There have been love and sex scenes in many other things. That doesn't mean that no one can ever do one of those again, I suppose. There's something about the energy of the way they've done it in Hot D. It's like they've tried to recapture the spirit of those scenes from season 1 of Thrones. At the start of the episode, we have about a minute and a half of empty rooms and corridors and a blonde child silently walking through them with music. And no, don't copy that bit. Don't copy season 8, please. No more slow walking like Tyrion in season 8 of Thrones. If you're going to copy something, can you copy maybe Sahara Knite's nude scenes? Esme Bianco naked?
Come on, give me something.
As an aside, why do censors have such weird priorities? Because in this season of Hot D alone, we've seen a man's tongue cut off with a red hot knife, a man's head bisected at the mouth, several men's faces and heads caved in. But sex? Oh no, be careful with that. We'll ban you if you show that. What? Also, no penises. Even less so if it's a hard penis. Show torture by all means, just no erect penises. Okay, here we have the Kurt Russell film Bone Tomahawk. There's a scene in it where a man gets cut in half quite slowly while alive with a blunt axe chopping him from groin to neck. Is that okay? Yes. That's acceptable. Yes, it is. But no boners. No, that would be unacceptable. And what sense does any of that make? Sex is a perfectly normal part of life. None of us would be here without it. But we live in a world where in TV and film it's more acceptable to show a woman being penetrated through the chest with a sword without her consent than it is to show a woman being penetrated with a penis with her consent. And if anything, penis becomes even less acceptable on TV if she enjoys it. And this is done supposedly in the service of protecting young minds. This is to stop people from growing up with unhealthy attitudes, apparently. I'm maybe going to have to press the X to doubt button on that one. Do we have any data to back that up? Because I'd expect the opposite. So what are the high and low points of this episode? Well, they showed a lot more of King's Landing, and I've been asking for that. And that was great. It was nice to get out of the Red Keep funds. The series is focused far too much on the nobility for me. The world still feels very small compared to Thrones. So yes, this episode gets outside of the Red Keep, but on the flip side, it still never leaves King's Landing. Also in the bad, there were no nice scenes with sexy naked ladies. Now, I mean that as a joke, kind of, because this has become a bit of a bugbear for me in Hot D. So what exactly do I mean by that? I mean the show seems to want to show me things that I don't want to see. And when there is something that I do want to see, the show hides it or does it off camera. Because in Game of Thrones, when Esme Bianco turned up with her knockers out, that wasn't something going in that I knew I wanted to see, but I was not unhappy that it happened. And if anything, afterwards, I find that I didn't resent it. Whereas in contrast, House of the Dragon insists on making me see things that I don't want to. Maybe I'm not the audience that they were looking for, but I didn't need to see Matt Smith thrusting. I didn't need to see a close-up of Matt Smith's arse. And more than that, in this episode, I did not need to know that the character of Laris Clubfoot Strong has a foot fetish. I didn't need to know that. And I didn't need to see him with his hand in his underwear, vigorously rubbing himself off while looking at Queen Alicent's feet. Jon Snow going down an Ygritte in a cave? Fine. I can imagine some couples had enormous fun after watching that. That scene with Laris has gone in a much more, how can I put it, speciality direction. It's a lot less mainstream and more like the subject of a Sahara Knite film. I shouldn't laugh. I find her film titles funny for the shock value alone, but I wonder how she feels about it. Because she did 22 porn films in 2005 alone. I wonder if she had to do it for the money. Did she enjoy it? Did she have a choice? I wonder how she feels about being in Game of Thrones. Did she want to be an actress and just ended up in porn? She'd be very interesting to talk to. I wonder how she feels in retrospect about her film role in Chloroformed Assassin. I also wonder how the actress Sophia Nonvete feels about her role as Captain Hey-Ho in the children's TV game show Swashbuckle now that she's in the Rings of Power.
Milk! Keep the jug still! Look, not a drop spilled! Oops! This doesn't look right! Turn that frown upside down! Only a clown would chuck in everything he found!
I wonder if in retrospect they both find their past roles humiliating. And looking at that footage, many of Sahara's films, curiously I guess, have a similar aesthetic outcome. So that's my criticism. Please, Hot D, can you show me things that I want to see? Things that are entertaining, like this sword fight between Kristen Cole and Sir Eric. Jesus, look at the cuts. Why are you focusing on Aemond wrestling with Aegon? I want to see the sword fight. Just, you do it every time. You show me things that I don't want to see. And you don't show me things that I do want to see. Also, I don't want you to cut away in the middle of the sword fight and show me Laris finishing himself off or a teenage prince spunking out of a window. Just compare and contrast that sword fight from Hot D to this sword fight from the 2020 South Korean film The Swordsman. Do you see what I mean? Do you see the difference? And the whole Kristen versus Eric fight would have been so much better if it had had any build-up. You needed to show that Sir Eric was formidable before the fight. It sells the fight. It raises the excitement for the clash. But as it was just Sir Kristen, who we know is a good fighter, fighting some guy called Eric. So Hot D, why can you not do a fight scene like that? Why can you not get whoever choreographed that fight scene?
Could you make me a cup of tea, please, Stephanie?